What's up? Welcome back to Recharge and our Friday review. This is an epic week because this one leaves. Dr. Gene Shirakabrad here with
Dr. Ryan Smith
and
Pam Showman.
We got a last name this time.
Wow.
She leaves and
Gotta mix it up.
You came all the way to the last name. Now everyone actually knows who she is because before she was just Pam. Now you have a last name. People can look you up and Facebook you and
Pam with the
good.
Pam's last week. She's gone back to school. It was something. In a positive way. It was something in a positive way.
We started off with Robbie saying how long it was, so this is already better than that one. Oh, ouch. Sorry, Robbie.
Oh no.
You did great, bud.
What's up, Robbie? All right, so again, give you a summary of what this is about. We'll give you a breakthrough or breakdown of our week, stuff that we've kind of noticed, conversations that we've had, some of the content that we've made, and really give you our perspective and take on why we made the content or really some of the depth of the conversation. So, Ryan, you want to start it off like before?
This week we have a lot of new people joining the gym, which is awesome for us to see, and integrating them into the system and the programming, taking them through onboarding has been really great. And we've talked a lot about how we reframed conversations before and getting people's ideas of what they believe they can or cannot do. Within that theme, I think there's a little bit of every time you set foot in here and you take on a workout, and this could be arguably in any CrossFit gym really, is how much humility you need to have to scale things back to make it appropriate for you. Oftentimes, people think coaches are here to push you as hard as you can, to get every last bit of energy out of you, every last bit of skill, when in reality, we're trying to find the appropriate challenge to meet you where you're at. Now, for some people, that might mean you're only going to be able to do 2 push-ups every minute. For others, it could be 20, right? There's a whole spectrum of where people fall along those lines. Expert coaches find the right amount and the right skill level to put you there. The kicker is that good gyms, and we believe we're one of them, try to gear the programming and gear that type of mindset towards you. But they're still at a personal level where the individual coming in has to check themselves at the door. And I think this is apparent in any physical activity. More often than not, I think when members come in, they realize, wow, I'm really not as in shape as I thought I was. I'm not as physically capable as I thought I was. I couldn't do these things as good as I thought I could, right? So as much as people say, I have this and this and that wrong with me, they still expect that they can do all these things that they always say, I used to be able to do, without ever actually testing it or realizing it. And it's for our abilities as coaches to make them realize that and build them up from there. So lots of humility, lots of checking ego at the door this week for a multitude of people, a multitude of new people coming in. I think that's been really cool to see. And a theme that we constantly throw out there to all our members is that the workout isn't about you particularly. It's about challenging you where you're at and building up from there, and not comparing yourself to others and doing all those things really well. And I think our community embraces that pretty rightly.
Yeah, it takes a little time, but like everything else that we talked about, it's kind of a mindset shift for them to process that. That actually kind of rolls into my thought of I want to talk a little bit about locus of control. And
Locusts?
Locust. Yes, locus of control. Not like coming from the heavens. The locus of control, meaning something that what you perceive as what you can do versus you think it depends on other people. Now, from a clinical point, I feel like this is a never-ending battle as a clinician, because when people come to see us, they essentially give away some of that control because we're trying to help them. Where it becomes too far is when people think that we fix them, or when it's the reliance is on techniques that they don't have control over. So for example, and this might sound weird from a practicing clinician that does some of these things, but any hand-on technique, so joint manipulation, soft tissue work like massage and things like that, they have value, they have a purpose, they feel good, or they get the kind of next perspective or next page in the treatment, which is always movement and activity, which is one of the videos that we did about hair flossing. So it was, that video took so long to make. That video was such a pain. But the point is, getting rid of pain, the end goal is to get you moving. So if you're always reliant on a clinician to get rid of your pain, then your locus of control is external, meaning you don't have control over this aspect of your life. And this is something that we always try to empower our patients, because I'm a firm believer that the best thing we can do as a clinician is educate and empower patients for their ultimate end goal of having full control over their body and their environment and their life. So if you're always dependent on somebody else, then you're never really better all the way. You're not really always living to that potential because you're still dependent on somebody. So for us, and this is such a hard conversation, because we don't want to come at people right away of saying, well, you're wrong, or no, you should be thinking completely different. It's kind of start by meeting in the middle of figuring out why you want certain things, certain techniques, or certain aspects that we have more control over. But ultimately, it's about educating and empowering you that you are capable of moving better. You're capable of helping yourself be out of pain. You're capable of doing so many things that is not dependent on us anymore or our other clinicians. And it's tough because it's not the major or the popular kind of educational philosophy of a lot of clinicians, because, to be honestly completely blunt, it's just a terrible business model, because people are not dependent on you anymore. But that's what we're built on, is to educate people and have them move and be active and learn all that themselves. So it ultimately, long term, it benefits everyone. But that's one of the conversations that I feel like that I had a lot, and I still am it's a very delicate conversation with people, because especially when you're in pain, you want that person to help you and get better. But it's about us teaching you how to get better yourself. So if you're in that situation, I think it's a question you need to ask yourself is, do I have more control over this situation, or does the person helping me have more control? Or is it shifting more towards me versus them? Because even if it starts that way, there should be a progression to becoming more in your hands as a clinician or as a patient than the clinician. So that's something, kind of a measure that you should guide. And we're actually going to create a video probably next week to show what should you be looking in a clinician, whether it's a physical therapist or a chiropractor or a physician. And we'll start with physical therapy, obviously, because that's what we know better than anything, of what is a good physical therapist and what should you be looking for. One.
Good puns.
Punning all day. Pam?
Pam, when have you had to check your ego at the door?
Yeah, Pam.
When have I had to check my ego? A lot of times.
Check yourself before you wreck yourself, Pam.
Let's look at some thoughts. This is 6 weeks. Profound thoughts, observations from coaching.
Just remember, this is your last week. This is your last thoughts. These are the lasting thoughts of Pam. You have no other way to get your thoughts in. This is what will always stay as your last thoughts.
And remember Robbie's last thoughts?
Oh, God.
Oh, man. Forever living infamy.
Wait, who?
Poor Robbie.
Bars being set high.
Here we go.
Well,
no, actually, in that case, I don't know how the bar is set.
Yeah, I don't even know if there is a bar.
Oh no. Well, I think there's been a lot of cool observations that I've been able to make in these 6 weeks. And one thing we were talking about earlier is just, again, hitting home that continuum that everyone falls along when it comes to what they're capable of doing in here, whether it is the level of behavior change that they're at, figuring that out when you interact with them. And it's like you were saying, it's a delicate balance of pushing them, but also taking their current beliefs into account and not, just completely flipping them on their head right when they walk in the door. And I think that's really challenging to do, but it's been really awesome to get some time here learning how to do that. So I'm really thankful to have had this opportunity to practice that. And it's definitely something I'm going to take with me moving forward, because we all have our either preconceived notions or beliefs about certain things in our lives, but the ability to approach anything with an open mind and with that ability to be challenged, I think is really important for growth. And so, you know, a lot of the people that we see coming in here are already kind of at that point where they know something has to change, and so they've already taken those steps and they're open to being challenged like that. So that's a really cool thing to see.
Yeah, I think that perspective is awesome, because ultimately, to kind of bring it back to a story perspective, and something we talk about often is we're not the heroes in this narrative, we're the guides.
Yeah,
right. So you have to be the hero in your own story, and we are not that. We are the Yoda to your Luke Skywalker, right? We're here to build you up and maybe challenge you a little bit.
Yes.
But ultimately, it's not about us. It's about your story, and each one and each person is living their own kind of path like that. And I think that's one of the cool things of being a coach and even being a clinician, is that we get to experience that with a bunch of people. At least it should be for us.
Agreed.
Right, Yoda Ryan?
Yoda Ryan. How does he say things? Backwards, right?
Yeah. You thinking of a backwards? It's not coming out?
Yeah, I got nothing.
Squat you will.
Squat you will.
There we go.
Will you squat?
Squat you will.
Squat you will.
Yeah.
Deadlift you will.
Pam's lasting legacy, speaking like Yoda. Going out.
That's good, right?
On a peak. I'd say so. I
think that's good.
Could be a lot worse. Could be a lot worse. All right, awesome. Well, that's our week for mid-April. It's still frigid outside, and people keep complaining about the weather, rightfully so. Hopefully by next week things turn around a bit. Pam will be gone, chatting about the week. So catch you again next week. If you have any questions, as always, leave them in the comments below. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel. Make sure you catch us on Instagram as well. We'll be posting a lot of stories behind the scenes. You got to watch Ryan cramp up on that flossing video. That was hilarious.
Unbelievable.
That was so funny. But stuff like that you only see on Instagram. So make sure you follow Recharge X Fit on Instagram. Catch you again next week.